Well, I'm joined by Nadav Weiman, a former IDF sniper and now the executive director of a group called Breaking the Silence, which is a group of former Israeli soldiers speaking out about the day and what's going on in the life of the occupied territories. Thank you very much indeed for your time today. We're seeing this potential big move into Gaza City. What are your thoughts about that, and what are your concerns about that operation?
First of all, what we are seeing on the ground and the decision of our government is more of the same. We have nothing new over here. Our government know because the army told them that it's impossible to defeat Hamas, basically. And everything that we did so far in almost 2 years of war, eliminating Gazans, destroying infrastructure, mass loss in soldiers' life and also Palestinian life, didn't brought to the result of releasing our hostages by military means, and also didn't really defeat Hamas. So what we believe is that we're going to see more of the same, and eventually not defeating Hamas and being in the same exact point.
When we hear, though, that the plan is to go into Gaza City, from your own experience, can you explain how that might actually happen on the ground?
We're seeing the first steps at the moment. So what the IDF does is, first of all, we surround the area, and then we throw leaflets from the air and also send text messages to Gazans on the ground, leave from this street or that street in this time and that time. And after that, what we tell our soldiers, what I was told when I fought in Gaza, is that there isn't any civilians over there. The only one who remained are Hamas or Jihad Islam or other armed factions, meaning you can shoot everywhere, meaning you can bombard from the air targets that are close to civilian areas like, I don't know, a school that a lot of Gazans fled to. So we will see artillery at first and a lot of attacks from the air, drones, fighter jets, and helicopters. And after that, infantry would enter. They blow up IEDs and tanks and all of that, and D9 bulldozers, and then light infantry. And then we move from house to house. We never want to stay out in the open. So we blow up a wall of a house or the front door, we enter inside, and then we do what we call a wet sweep of the house. Throw a grenade, it explodes, and you enter while firing inside. And like that, every house until you take over entire neighborhoods or entire city. And as you can imagine from what I just explained, the casualties on the civilian population are going to be massive, and the IDF knows it.
And you have talked in the past, and I just wonder if you can explain for us why you decided to speak out now against this military operation, because you've talked about what it means on a human level to go into a house, to meet, families, children.
I've got to say, I was a soldier long time ago, but Breaking the Silence, we interviewed more than 100 soldiers that fought in this war from the last 22 months. And all of them are telling us the same thing. We don't have ammunition or weapons or Hamas flag in every house in Gaza. It's just not true. What they did find in houses in Gaza, in neighborhoods that were supposed to be evacuated, are human beings, are families, right? Maybe a disabled family member that cannot move, maybe a mother that lost her husband and has kids and she doesn't want to move anymore. And when they enter into houses, they see houses basically like mine over here in Tel Aviv, right? With, I don't know, a television or photos on the wall, but not a lot of food. And it's in a very bad condition. And then you have to interact with the family, right? You need to take them out to what we call humanitarian corridors, so they can be taken out. But everything is left behind. So you enter into somebody's life, and then you get a command to demolish it. Because IDF soldiers, they have to demolish houses after they leave the house. Maybe it would be with a D9 bulldozer, maybe it would be with a landmine or with explosives. So basically everything you see or everywhere you walk inside Gaza, you know it's going to be demolished. So you treat it in a certain way. Graffiti, what we saw, videos of soldiers just demolishing kitchens and things like that as retaliation or revenge. So it's basically an atmosphere of violence.
But you will know that the IDF say, that if Hamas are hiding behind civilian areas, whether that's residential places or schools or hospitals, then they still have to go and target those Hamas operatives. Are you saying that when individual IDF soldiers go in, if they go into a house and they see, for example, that it's obviously children who are still in there, if they haven't evacuated, What is their command to do? I mean, are they supposed to target that family?
No, they're supposed to take them to the humanitarian corridors and then out. But I have to say something about Hamas hiding behind civilians. Yes, the infrastructure of Hamas, its tunnels underneath Gaza, and also I know, warehouses or command centers inside cities. But the IDF doctrine that are fighting in Gaza, it's called the Dahiya Doctrine, named after the Shia neighborhood of Beirut we attacked from there in 2006, the Second Lebanese War. And that doctrine believes that we have to inflict unproportional damage to the civilian infrastructure to make the South Lebanese not cooperate with Hezbollah and to make the Gazans not cooperate with Hamas, right? So the IDF believes that we have to destroy the civilian infrastructure, schools, bridges, tunnel, water facilities, electricity facilities. And why? Because we cannot win Hamas, we cannot defeat them, right? So the IDF, in fact, are telling us as soldiers that civilian infrastructure is a part of the warfare, is a part of war, and it's basically okay. Because when we move between houses, the rules of engagement that we are getting is every man military age shoot to kill, right? And when we see targets far from us in the remote window, we will order one of the tanks next to us to fire a tank shell, right? So because we see the entire area, the urban area, as war, right? And then the IDF says Hamas is hiding behind civilians. We don't distinguish between civilian areas and military operated area by Hamas when we're fighting inside. And well, let's think about that. I'm a resident of Tel Aviv. I live here all of my 39 years. And in the heart of Tel Aviv, we have the headquarters of the IDF. So the IDF is hiding behind civilians, right? I don't know if that's the equation. So what does it mean about firing rockets on Tel Aviv, right? We as an army, the IDF needs to distinguish between civilian targets, civilian facilities, and military targets. And one of the problems there is we're not doing that.
Okay, but as you will know, people will say, well, it is an asymmetric warfare situation when you're fighting a group like Hamas, and Israel is giving an evacuation order, or says it's going to give evacuation orders to places that it's going to go into. And as you said there, the order is if they see someone who's obviously a civilian, then those people should be moved and not fired on.
Yes, but again, we're talking about areas where IDF troops are on the ground get evacuation orders. When we attack from the air, what we believe are military targets, and I think me and you won't think are military targets, like houses of Hamas operatives, like government offices. I don't think it's military targets, right? So when we will attack them, then the IDF will calculate what we call collateral damage. How many civilians were okay with them to die with the target? On a day-to-day basis, it's supposed to be zero. We want to kill only that armed man or dangerous individual. And now what we're hearing from soldiers on the ground, that collateral damage jumped to between 15 to 20, right? And I'm quoting one of our testifiers, Hamas truck driver, you can kill 15 innocent people with them, right? So, you know, when we're talking about attacking, it's not only where soldiers are on the ground when we threw the leaflets. It's everywhere in the Gaza Strip, as you can see, only the last couple of days, right? We are attacking a tent with journalists, right, in a hospital, or tent where Palestinians are charging cell phones, right? And so it's not only where the IDF is operating IDF troops are on the ground operating. It's everywhere, right? And that's, again, because we see the entire Gaza Strip as a battleground.
Okay, well, Nadav Weiman, a former IDF sniper, now executive director of the Breaking with Silence group.